Yo, what's going on YouTube, bro? We back at it again with another reacts. This time, we're picking up, bro, with part 3 of the August the Duck JiDion drama situation, bro. If you haven't seen the first video, the first two, bro, they're probably going to go over it, bro, so I'm going to make it real brief, real quick, so we just hop right into the video. JiDion and August are beefing, apparently because August feels like it's a little bit tasteless for JiDion to have the whole entire advertisement of EDP watching the video, as well as having it named after EDP, because August feels like EDP in that whole entire situation, there was no real conflict resolution happening. Because, you know, he's still out here, he's still free. JiDion's response is basically like, bro, we ruined his life. He can't have a job at Walmart. People found out, doxed him, got him up out of there. He tried to do, like, Lyft or Uber or, like, Uber Eats, all three of them probably, and got banned off of all of them once they figured out who he was, what he did, and what happened. And JiDion's whole entire point is, like, if we don't get them, like, prosecuted, their faces been plastered all over the place, and people can really see, like, you know, what they be doing being PDFs. So yeah, that's pretty much really the whole entire situation. I'm pretty sure they didn't go over it into the video, but without further ado, bro, let's just get right into it.
Well, guys, I'm going to try and keep this one short. You know I'm pretty famous for being able to do that. If you're watching this video, then you probably read the title, which is going to be something like JiDion responded to me. And if you're watching this video, then you probably watched JiDion's response to me. And
I watched them all, bro, and we here reacting to it. Let's get it.
Promise. If you watched that one, then you may or may not have watched my original video on JiDion, where I expressed an opinion on an ad in his video that didn't really sit right with me. Now, I watched JiDion's response to me, and for the most part, I feel like it's a pretty good level-headed response. There's a few nitpicks I have, but I'm not really going to be getting into those. This is not going to be like an in-depth.
All right, here's my first nitpick, bro. Whatever the fuck that shit is underneath right here, bro, please get rid of it. If that's like a little stubble, bro, start shaving this shit a little bit more periodically, bro. Get a Manscaped sponsorship, bro. Get a free, what do you call it, the edge trimmer, bro. Get that shit. Clean that bitch up, bro. This mustache is way too aggressive on the edge, bro. You got like a little trapezoid, like, you know, bro, like, you know, I ain't gonna say I'm the facial hair guru, bro. We got some, you know, spottiness, man, bro. But, nigga, shit, my shit look better than this, though, bro. Watch when I come back from the barbershop. Watch. I'll show him more. I'll show him more.
Don't really think there's a need for that.
They're gonna call me some triple.
After that response, live, me and JiDion started talking on Instagram, and we ended up on a Discord call for 3 hours, and we talked for 3 hours. A lot of it was calm,
bro,
some of it
post
was
that 3 hours, please.
Not so calm. But at the end, I think it was a pretty good, productive conversation.
Like when they be having these like discussions, bro, just go live, Twitch, YouTube, bro. Just do it live, bro. I would have done a 3-hour react live on Twitch, bro. Like, come on.
I think I changed his mind on some things. He definitely changed my mind on some things. And that's really what we're here to talk about today, because while I'm going to stand by a lot of the stuff I said in that video, I realize some of it was wrong, and I'm not afraid to be wrong. Dare I say, I even kind of like to be wrong. I like to learn new things. I like to better myself.
I kind of want one of these like little boxing shits, bro.
Wrong, I'll tell
this shit look kind of fire.
I'm going to be telling you a little bit about just that
what do you
today,
call it?
but
Soundproof
first,
shit? The boxing shit, man, they got me, bro.
No fucking clue what I'm talking about. Earlier this week, I made a video on
fucking
JiDion,
dog barking,
who is
bro.
like a pretty popular predator catching YouTuber. And I made the video because I saw a clip either on Twitter or Reddit of this advertisement, like this plug he does for basically like a membership service to his content that just didn't really sit right with me. I didn't like the way it was edited. I didn't like the tone. I thought some of the things that were offered in the membership were kind of strange. And given the seriousness of something like catching a predator, I just kind of thought the ad was in poor taste. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, straight up, I'm like not gonna back down on any of that. Me and JiDion talked about it. We kind of agreed to disagree. I just don't think the tone of that ad and some of the things that were offered are really appropriate. And I'm just not gonna sit here and try and defend myself over and over again. I've talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people seem to think the same thing I think. It's an ad that's kind of important.
When you're talking to those people, respectfully, devil's advocate, we're talking to people, like, if they're all agreeing with you, bro, you wasn't really talking to people, bro. Like, that's the main, like, thing about it, bro. Like, when you're talking to people, if they're all agreeing with you, okay, bro, you're getting everybody with the same opinion, bro. Get people with a difference of opinions, because you could just see the shit through different lenses, different scopes, bro. And it comes back to the thing like I said before, bro. It ain't that big of a deal. Is it over the top? Is it dramatic, bro? Yes. Are you upset about people getting flown out to do the predator catches? Yes, bro. Are you upset that they're putting the shit behind the paywall? Like, bro, like, I get all of that, and I respect most of it. I get it, and I understand. The thing I didn't get, bro, was why you talking about the RP shit with the children, bro. Like, that shit was, that's the one thing where I'm like, bro, I don't think anybody with proper, like, with a proper brain and proper conscience, bro, would go that length and be like, bro, you're having, like, them doing it and, like, RPing with, like, 13-year-olds, and you're selling it and people can get off to it. Like, bro, that's a crazy amount of mental gymnastics. To get to that one point is fucking, like, diabolical.
Or taste. However, since I was talking about one of the biggest predator catching YouTubers, I ended up
bro, this
giving
Red Bull
my
can't keep
thoughts
fucking
on,
moving,
like,
bro.
predator catching content as a whole during the first half or so. And after talking to JiDion for a while and just doing some, like, thinking on my own, my opinion has changed. Now, in a nutshell, what I said was I don't really think the whole predator catching genre belongs on YouTube. And my reasoning for thinking that was, one, because I think a lot of guys who are doing it, maybe not like the biggest guys, but just a lot of people who are doing it as copycats almost, are not doing it for the right reasons, and I still think that's true. But my second reason, and a bigger reason, was because I didn't really believe this kind of content did a whole lot to get the predators behind bars and to protect the victims. I was under the impression that these, like, vigilante stings never go anywhere, and that these guys are doing the...
And that's the thing, bro. You made a whole video responding to it without doing actual, like, credible research, bro. JiDion seen all the videos that you had ads and no ads was, bro, to make a point. You could do the same thing, just look at the videos, seen this shit, bro. Fucking all hell, bro. You could have paid $5, got into this shit, and could have did, like, a whole entire expose piece about it. You could have did that, but you didn't, bro. You just chose to run out there with the narrative that you made without doing, like, the proper research. That's, like, at least for me, like, as, like, a viewer... Like, that's where I'm just like, all right, bro. Like, you doing this shit, but you ain't doing, like, no type of proper, like, actual looking into it, like, in depth.
These things knowing that nothing legally is really gonna happen to these guys, and I thought that was kind of strange. However, after looking into the numbers, after talking to JiDion, a lot of these guys end up being convicted, and another thing I ignored, and arguably my biggest mistake when talking about this content, is that I didn't really consider the impact that this has on not only the predator's life, but the community around them. Exposing these guys...
Like I said before, thinking about money monetization without really doing, like, any other, like, actual in-depth think piece, bro. Seeing how he just, like people like this within, like, the YouTube, like, space, who covers all the drama and shit and everything. It's one thing to, like, go in there and try to bring down, like, really bad people. But the shit that JiDion's doing and how he's doing it, bro, all the shit could have been avoided if he just did his research and really got into it with nitpicking and actually made it into, like, a really in-depth piece.
For what they are, telling their family, their wife, their children, letting them know that they're living with a monster that people are living
like I said when I was reacting to his original video.
So even if these guys, like, weren't getting convicted, which I've learned a lot of them are, the impact to the local community is pretty fucking important, and I just kind of ignored that aspect of it, and that was just a mistake on my end. Pretty stupid fucking thing for me to ignore, and objectively kind of a bad take. However, I would like to sort of explain why I said this, because there's definitely a reason, and I just want you guys to kind of understand where I was coming from, okay? The guys who do this predator catching shit will attest to this, that when this first started, like when this first started hitting the internet, when people first started doing these, like, YouTube stings, local law enforcement and the district attorneys hated it. The evidence was, like, immediately getting thrown out. The police were not working with these guys. Like, just nothing really was coming from these guys doing these stings because the police wouldn't touch it, and neither would the DA. Every single story I read, every single video I saw on this shit, a few years ago, that was the case. It even got to the point where YouTube implemented a new community guideline where they wouldn't allow it on YouTube, and they still don't. If you don't contact the police or have the police present in these sting videos, YouTube will take down your video. Because so many people back then were not even trying to get convictions or trying to get these guys arrested because they knew the police weren't going to touch it.
And that's a good point. Like, if you're not doing it properly, my fault, this fucking cameras keep shaking and shit. But that's the point, bro. If they're not doing that with the proper, like, guidelines and ways to, like, actually get these people convicted, that's the issue with, like, you know, other YouTubers that are doing it. I'm behind it. JiDion, he learned through all the time of, like, you know, work with Skeeter, Rosen, and other, like, you know, TCAP groups, and that's fine. But I feel like this should have been said in the first video, not after you have the conversation with JiDion, because with somebody with active brain cells, you could just think a little bit more, think more critically when you're making the videos, and really ponder yourself, like, why? Why and how? Why, when, where, and how, bro? Like, we learned this shit back in, like, kindergarten. When, where, how, and why? Like, bro, it's simple. Just think.
That's how it used to be. So that's kind of where my thought process of like, oh, these guys are doing this knowing that nothing's going to happen came from.
But picking JiDion out of everybody is also still crazy.
Another mistake on my end, I'll admit it. I just assumed that was still the way things are. But they're not. A lot of local law enforcement agencies and district attorney offices these days are willing to work with these guys even if they're doing it on YouTube. Even if it's not officially connected to law enforcement, they are willing to take the evidence that these guys get, and they...
State gets to get money. You know what I mean? Like, states get to keep money, get free, like, you know, free people to do this shit, to catch people. All the evidence is shit, like, depending if they like the Google Drives, hard drives, like all that shit, and just give it to them. It's been to make it a lot easier.
Are using it to arrest these guys, charge them, and convict them. And because of a lack of research, and because I just assumed that things wouldn't change so quickly, I didn't even bother really to check if that was the case. I thought it was the same as it was a few years ago, where these guys were going into it knowing that they weren't going to be able to get these guys arrested. And in my mind, what they were doing by doing that was basically just creating a more careful predator who's not going to get caught in a sting next time. Which again, even in that scenario, I was still ignoring the fact that they get exposed to their community. But
because you're a brain dead fuck.
That's where my mind was. And I'm going to be...
or lack thereof.
Completely honest. I kind of allowed myself to just almost get in like an internal echo chamber where I was seeing so many people say similar things, where I kind of convinced myself that this kind of content is bad for the children. That these guys were only creating more careful predators. They weren't doing a whole lot to prevent anything happening. And after like really evaluating that mindset, it's just wrong. Like, even if these guys aren't charged or convicted, which, let's be honest, it does happen, their name and their despicable actions have still been plastered in front of millions of people, and there's a chance that it might have scared them straight and they're not going to try it again. Like, at the end of the day, even if they aren't actually getting convicted, I would rather that...
I would say that part, I still feel like they still would try. Like, that's why I agree with this other part. Like, they will make, like, a much more, like, careful ones in certain instances where they don't get caught. Because I'm pretty sure, bro, if they already did it before, bro, like, if it, like, it can't be all of their first times, you know what I mean, bro? Like, they probably got away with it, probably, like, try to do something if he didn't do it, bro. But I get what you're saying, bro. That's what I'm saying, like, it's the both and aspect that he should try to cover whenever he's doing, like, these, like, expose pieces or, like, you know, these pieces, bro. Because you just have to look at it through both lenses, both optics, and really get, like, a real look into it.
That a decoy be the victim than an actual child. Not only that, I think I allowed a lot of the bad content in this genre to sort of sway my opinion a lot more than it should. Because like I said in that original video, I think the guys who are doing this not to like get convictions or actually help children, but to just like lure them to a back alley and beat the shit out of the guy. Like I said, I have no sympathy for the guy getting the shit beat out of him. But when I say people are doing it for the wrong reasons, that's really what I'm talking about. Now, not letting myself off the hook here, I made an implication in that original video that I thought JiDion was doing it for the wrong reasons. And after talking to him, I simply don't. Me and him definitely did not see eye to eye about everything. We don't see eye to eye now, don't get me wrong, even though we had a good conversation. We definitely disagree on a lot. But the main thing that I came away with is that this guy is super passionate about what he does. And while, like I said, I'm going to maintain that I don't like the ad, I think it's in poor taste. I think it really hurts the seriousness that his videos generally have otherwise. Me making the implication that because he had a bad ad, he was doing this for the wrong reasons was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. Me and him were talking, and he made a good point. It was something that I hadn't really considered. Look, it's really hard for me to like support the idea of vigilante justice, but protecting children is something that I'm very passionate about, which,
like I said before, with vigilante justice, bro, this nigga hate Batman. He a Superman fan, bro. He okay with heroes, but he draws the line to vigilante.
Is why it's so disheartening to see thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people call me the worst names imaginable simply because I disagree with a YouTuber you like. I'll talk about that more later, though. So when it comes to me not really loving the idea of vigilante justice, those...
I don't even think it's only just, like, the YouTubers that we like. It's literally, bro, you're not taking it seriously, bro. Like, for me, the equivalent of his, like, ads and, like, your issue can just be flipped and spun for you making this whole entire thing of, like, you're doing this for the wrong reasons, bro. You threw an ad on the video to talk shit about somebody else's ad about protecting children. And here we are, bro, with the second video, bro. And I just don't feel like I don't think he's a critical thinker at all, bro. With how he's set up, bro, plus with that nasty-ass mullet in the big year 2025, with the edges kept on, bro, no taper, bro, is nasty work.
It was negative.
You can worry about your facial hair and this crusty ass mustache, but you ain't gonna help the mullet by tapering the sides, bro. Let me see your lineup, bro. Let me see the full head ratio, bro. We gotta help this man, bro. We gotta help this man with the lineup.
Feelings are far, far, far outweighed by the positive feelings that I have about these guys getting stopped before they can do anything to an actual child. And I value that. The sad truth is that a lot of law enforcement agencies are simply just not doing a lot to protect children in this sort of sphere we live in, where every kid is on the internet these days. And the more that I've really started to think about it, the more I've almost kind of started to think that these sorts of groups that do it correctly are almost a necessity. The guys who behave in these ways just have far, far too many avenues to find children and exploit children who don't know any better. And like, police just can't keep up even if they wanted to, which a lot of the times police don't. And that's not just for matters like this, but in general, like police just can't handle all of this shit. And you know what? If these guys can get these guys behind bars or exposed in front of millions of people, this is not me just trying to like overcorrect, seriously. I kind of struggle to like really vocalize what my problem with this was. Like I was saying, JiDion made a good point that these videos, this kind of pressure from the public seeing that the police aren't doing anything, it shapes local communities. This affects local elections. And I mean, like, if you are getting handed to you on a silver platter evidence that in your area can be used and you're ignoring it, it's really hard to defend you. Like, JiDion talked to me about some of the cases that he's been on where these guys have admitted things to police unprompted and then nothing is done. Again, not a huge fan of the idea of vigilante justice, but what I hate a lot more is law enforcement and district attorneys, people who are supposed to serve the public and protect the public, sitting on their ass and doing nothing. And that opens it up, presented to them, like they do a lot, and not just in situations like this.
Like, you can't say vigilante justice is bad if you can also make a civilian's arrest, because then you technically are a fucking vigilante at that same point, bro. Because you're not a trained, like, you know what I mean? Like, you ain't a trained, like, safety officer, bro. You ain't a cop. You ain't none of that shit, bro. You're just a normal civilian, but you can place other civilians to do civilian arrests, bro. That's like Bruce Wayne taking people and putting them under civilian arrest, waiting for the PD to show up, bro. Spider-Man, webbing niggas up, bro, waiting for the PD, bro. Come on now. You gotta think a little bit.
I mean, seriously, with like all different kinds of crimes, how many times have you heard in your local community or nationally that law enforcement was tipped off about this person, or they knew about them, or they were warned and they did nothing? At some point, it does kind of feel like maybe groups like this stepping in and forcing their hand might be what needs to happen. Is it ideal? I mean, obviously not. Ideally, they'd be able to work with law enforcement from the start. But I mean, if these...
Like I said before, if, like, you know, different agencies across America and all 50 states, bro, could offer, like, actual trainings and classes to how to do this shit actually and professionally to actually help out these, like, police departments to actually, like, get these people up and off the street, bro, that would be more beneficial to the actual cause, bro. To actually teaching people how to do this shit the right way and the proper way. Yeah, you could make, like, some people get much more, like, craftier and, like, how they, like, move around. But if you actually offer it up, you can have a lot of residents, a lot of people within your community actually step up to that call and do it. Not everybody want to be a police officer or a cop, bro, because that's a bad stigma, bro. But people do want to get these, you know what I mean, these PDFers, bro, off the street.
These guys are doing it by the book. They're gathering evidence that can be used in courts. They're taking the necessary actions to actually get these guys convicted. I don't really see what my problem was with it, and I don't see what the greater internet's problem seems to be with it either. All the other content where they're just beating them up or doing stupid shit with the predators, yeah, I get that. Again, those...
Nah, dads against predators, bro. I get it. I get it, bro. You may not like them, bro, but... at the same time, if the cops ain't gonna do nothing, bro. Alley-oop. Alley-oop. Oh, well, fuck it, bro. I'll probably put this clip. This might be the one video I actually edit, bro. I'm gonna put that clip in there because this shit's crazy, bro.
Those are the people doing it for the wrong reasons. But if it's working, if law enforcement offices are accepting it, if the DA's office is accepting it, I don't really think there's room to complain. I know I said I was going to keep this short. I'm not, so I'm just going to roll with it. I want to talk about two more things real quick. One is kind of expanding upon what I mean when I say that people are doing this for the wrong reasons. Obviously, like we talked about the guys who just lure these people out to beat them up. Again, who cares if a predator gets beat up? But I mean, you have to question why a person is really doing something like that. Are they really trying to protect children, or do they they just want to be able to beat somebody up without any consequences? Which objectively is a weird desire to have. Secondly, I think a lot of guys end up treating this as a joke. Like, I don't know if these guys just sort of become desensitized to it or what it is, but I feel
why are we on JiDion if that's the real people that you have issues with? Like, that's what I mean, bro. You thought JiDion was doing one thing, bro, and now you're, you know what I mean? You're moving the goalpost so it just looks less bad on you and your take, bro. It's just a bad take, bro. Acknowledge it, bro, and move on. You're trying to justify it and move the goalpost and trying to find an issue. Your issue is about a fucking $5 ad, bro, in the content that is served, bro. What do you, like, I just feel like there's bigger issues. Like you were saying, bro, there's other groups who do it for other nefarious reasons. Go after them, bro. Why are we after a $5 ad, bro?
I feel like a lot of the
I just feel like it's easy to shit on JiDion.
Guys who do this, they end up making weird decisions that just leave you kind of scratching your head like, really? This is what you thought was appropriate while you were trying to imprison a predator? Hopefully we don't start another beef with this one. I hope we can kind of all come to like a reasonable conclusion here. Another popular guy who does this is
We don't start beef. My brother in Christ, you did. You started it. Don't try to run away from it, bro. You started it, bro. You made your shit, now lay in your shit.
JiDion, and while I think a lot of the times his videos are pretty good, an example of what I'm talking about is the few videos he's made where he sat down with a predator and said, okay, if you beat me at this video game, I won't call the police. And he sat down on a couch and he's played Super Smash Bros. Or like Mortal Kombat with a child predator. Now look, I'm pretty fucking certain even if JiDion lost, he's still calling the police. But stuff like that, like the app.
Yeah, but I feel like homeboy gotta remember, bro, like, yes, like that might seem a little distasteful, a little out there, bro. But it's to make sure the PDF can, like, actually chill, and there's actually wasting time until law enforcement can't get there. Law enforcement, when you call them about these situations, it's not going to be instant. There's been many videos that they posted, bro. I think the one that's, like, a really good example was the one with JiDion had him. The dude was crawling inside the fucking ceiling, bro. They had to call the police multiple times to get there, to get this man off the street, bro. Like, they had to call multiple times, start pleading with them to get an officer there to the scene to help them out with the situation. So I don't feel like it's necessarily right to be like, oh, they're playing games or trying to get them off the hook. Bro, he's, like you said, he's realistically not going to do that. You got to think about it from the optics of actually stalling before you get into the questioning until you get to the law enforcement present. Like, just because the video is like 31 minutes long does not mean the whole entire, like, you know what I mean? Like, the whole entire interaction was 31 minutes long. Shit probably got cut out on the cutting room floor, bro. You know, like, a whole bunch of shit can be cut out, bro. So that 31 minutes could really, realistically be like 45 minutes to an hour. And we're just seeing just like a half hour of the actual stuff, bro. So it is a little weird. It's a little bit, you know, out there because if they do have like the $5 months for those subscription services to see the actual whole entire video uncensored, I'm pretty sure it would make a lot more sense. That's all I'm going to say.
Advertisement that JiDion put in his video, it rubs me the wrong way when you're talking about people who want to have sex with little children. How can you sit on a couch with a person like that and even entertain them? Like, how can you do that? I don't get that personally. That really rubs me the wrong way. And I think,
like I said before, this man has no critical thinking skills.
I think stuff like that is what people are talking about when they say people are just doing this for content. Because yeah, choosing to sit down with a predator and playing a video game with him is a weird thing to do. It really downplays the seriousness of what you're talking about. And I think stuff like that should be okay to say. And that sort of leads me to the final thing.
Like, it's okay to say, and it's right to feel that way. And at the same time, you also have to be a critical thinker and think about it. Just really think about the whole situation.
Talk about here. I won't spend a lot of time on it, but so the people who watched my video or watched like JiDion's response video and heard a guy say stuff like, one of my biggest complaints with predator catching content is that these guys don't get convicted enough, or at least that's what I thought. Or the people who heard me say that I don't like some of the stuff that JiDion is doing, I don't like the advertisement, I think it's in poor taste. To the people who heard that and went to my YouTube comments or my Instagram or my DMs and began to call me a pedophile and a predator, you should
hopefully he didn't see the video. Fucking start playing Not Like Us, bro. It was a joke, bro.
Be ashamed of yourself. To sit there all high and mighty saying the work that JiDion does is so important, the work that all these guys does is so important, to act like you care about that and then turn around and call me a pedophile or a predator baselessly just because I don't agree with a
That's crazy. It's not even that, bro. Like, at least for me, like where I'm coming from, it's not really that. It's just that, like, bro, you're a fucking doof. Like, I ain't gonna say you're better about it. But they move in flocks. You gotta put them on neighborhood watch. You know, you think it's like another line of watch. But, bro, it's not that, bro. You just have to, like, when you're talking about these situations, bro, like, you have to do more research because that opens yourself up to liability, bro. It's like the whole situation with Drake and Kendrick, bro, literally. Drake literally said on one of the diss tracks, bro, even I was like, oh, homie said, I'm too rich and famous to be doing what I'm accused of. My brother in Christ, they got R. Kelly, they got fucking Harvey Weinstein, they got mad heads, bro. So it's that situation where it's like the way how you say it and how you phrase it puts yourself within that group because it's just like a terrible take to have in a situation like this, bro. If I'm seeing what they're doing and like, bro, at the end of the day, if they're getting conviction, they're doing it regardless of the like right reasons or not, bro. Like, I don't really care as long as they're actually getting these motherfuckers off the street. If they want to have the $5 a month, bro, that's cool, bro. That just means one less weirdo on the fucking street and less weirdos going to be bred because hopefully they see this shit and they're like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to be put on blast. Maybe I don't want to go through this to ruin my life. Maybe what I'm doing is actually wrong. And seeing somebody going through all of this, bro, really does, like, wake them up, bro. Like, I think that's the main issue, bro. And if you're upset with people calling you a PDF, bro, you kind of invited it onto yourself because the video itself could come across to certain individuals like you're a sympathizer. And that's my point of doing research and being critical and thinking a lot more. Because I could have just said, you know what I mean? He a PDF. But not everybody, bro. Not everybody has to feel that way. Nor does everybody really have to, you know, agree with what you're saying, how you saying it. And everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Would I go that far to call him a PDF? Nah. But for what I call him, like a little sympathizer, questionably at minimum. But this mustache and that mullet and the non-taper, bro, you're not making a good case for yourself.
I feel like if you did that, which a lot of you did, you are not near mature enough to talk about topics like this. I mean, seriously, that is
some people just like to make jokes during times of awkwardness, bro. That's all it really comes down to. And what you did, you created an awkwardness topic around this whole situation over a $5 fucking ad, bro. You can't sit here and try to downplay people, bro. You just can't, bro.
Despicable shit, and if you did that, you're fucked up in the head. To baselessly accuse somebody of being the worst kind of human imaginable just because they have an opinion that you don't agree with, that's shameful. And I think it really shows that maybe you don't care about actual predators getting caught all that much, or you don't care about actual victims of predators all that much. If the word is that easy for you to throw around, I mean, we're talking about people who ruin the lives of the most innocent people on the planet, and because I made a YouTube video you didn't like, for you to call me a predator or a child predator sympathizer, not only should you be ashamed of yourself, you should know you're a fucking idiot. And I'm sorry that
he heard it, bro. He heard it through the grapevine.
You have to go through life possessing zero critical thinking skills. It must.
Bro, nah, he definitely had to see the fucking video. He had to have seen the video. I'm not even trolling. This motherfucker had to have seen the video. Literally, bro. I was trashing him by his critical thinking skills. Literally, I kept saying it in the original video, bro.
Must be pretty tough for you out there. However, with that being said, towards the end of our discussion, JiDion invited me on a predator catch, and you know what? As a person who's criticized them pretty heavily, I think it's only fair that I do my due diligence.
But didn't you say it would be weird if other people went out to the watches, bro? Because of the $5 a month they get flown out and go to the watch, bro. Now you do the watch with JiDion, bro. That's what I mean. The hypocritical, like, point of it is what always makes him lose his credibility, bro. You can't be that hypocritical. One video, be like, I couldn't see myself going out there. After this whole conversation with JiDion, I'm going out on a fucking hunt with him. That's crazy.
And actually see the ins and outs of what goes on during one of these.
You know, it's real.
So, yeah, don't know how serious JiDion was. Guess we'll figure that out. I'm always willing to learn something new, and for something I've criticized pretty heavily, seems like the best way to learn about it is to just do it. So, we'll see what happens. But, yeah, I think that's really all I had to say today, guys. Hope that clears up some of my thinking. Like I said, I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. Opinions should not be set in stone. You should always be willing to learn and grow, kind of expand your horizons. If you're a JiDion...
Yeah, but respectfully, when you say it, bro, you sound like a dickhead. Like, like just flat out, bro. Like it's the mannerisms, bro. Come on, fix it. Like I said before, when you're talking through the video and it's like this, it can come off as really condescending, and it's the high and mighty and know-it-all, like you're on the pedestal, my boy. You got to see it from all angles so you don't get called a sympathizer or a PDF person all together, bro. You just have to be the bigger person. That's all it is, bro. Like, when you doing it, bro, you got to be on your P's and Q's. And he wasn't on his P's and Q's, and he got called out for it. Now he trying to point it at everybody. Y'all called me this. Shame on you. You guys don't really care. Bro, you made a non-issue of a $5 fucking ad into an issue, bro. And now pointing the fingers at everybody else. If I'm not a sympathizer, I'm not one, like you said, bro, people are okay to have their opinions, they can change their opinions. If they feel like that, and then, you know what I mean, they can change it, bro. It's just their opinions, bro. If you getting that hurt over an opinion, bro, check this man's hard drive ASAP. I'm fucking around, bro. But, bro, it's just jokes, it's just banter, bro. Like, everybody, like, it's a serious topic, it's real, bro. But not everybody has to really, like, you know what I mean, bro? Like, everybody has different ways of dealing with shit, bro. Me, nigga, it's just comedy. For me, everything's comedy, nigga. Sad, comedy. Happy, comedy, nigga. Awkwardness, comedy. I like to do that shit, bro, in awkward situations because, you know, niggas, less awkward for me. That's how niggas cope. That's how niggas do shit, bro. So you can't get upset when other people call them, like, you know what I mean, bro?
Non-fan.
Highly doubt he talking about me, bro. If he actually did see the video, bro, that shit would be crazy, bro. But if you did see the video, bro, just put hootie hoo, bro. Just put an owl emoji underneath, bro. Something, bro.
Hard feelings. I have nothing against you. Unless you call me a predator or a pedophile or a predator sympathizer for...
I didn't call him that. I just said I could see how people could call him that.
Absolutely no reason. Yeah, in that case, you can go fuck yourself. But yeah, I think that's it. So yeah.
Okay, guys. Okay. So, anyone calling Duck EDP is dead or wrong and can't wait to bring you on the catch. How could we could disagree? But yeah, we could agree to disagree. Beef squashed. Yeah, literally, that's all it has to be, bro. That's all it is, bro. Is this man a PDF? No. Does he have a fucked up mullet and need to get his fucking shit tapered, bro? Honestly, bro, get rid of this mustache, bro. If you could grow all this shit in, bro, just please grow it all in, bro. Get you a nice little goatee going, bro. A little strap, bro. Fire, bro. Fire, bro. Get the shit, bro. Get it going, bro. Because once you go like this, bro, it's just bad. It's just bad. It's just bad all around, bro. But nonetheless, guys, hope you guys enjoy the reacts, bro. Nice little 32-minute yap sesh, bro. August, bro. Nobody seriously thinks that, you know, you're a PDF or a PDF sympathizer. Like, everything's just jokes. At least on this end, everything's just jokes, bro. Get this shit through, bro. But shit, man. You have to critical think on yourself. You can't say everybody's got to critical think if a conversation with JiDion made you think more, bro. When you're doing these shits, bro, as a YouTuber, bro, like, just critically think, bro. I don't even got, nigga, 100 subs, bro, and I'm critically thinking, bro. I think about it on all aspects. Like, I get where you coming from. I get where JiDion's coming from. I get where the fans on both ends are coming from. The end of the day, bro, whenever you're doing your contents and shit like this, bro, just really just do your due diligence and do your research. Because like I said before in the first video, it just comes off as like a sloppy, like, content warning, content news shit that iDubbbz, HD doing, bro. And at the same time, like, you know, there's a place and time for those shits, bro. I feel like in this day and age and YouTube over like certain things, oh, it's definitely needed, bro. Like it's in the other one, bro. There's random shit, a whole bunch of crazy shit going on YouTube, going on Twitch, bro. JOI ASMR streams, YouTube shit, bro. YouTube videos, bro. Like some of this shit needs to get cleaned up, bro. I feel like the issue with like JiDion and the other shit, bro. That's something that at least the $5 a month ad issue, bro. Like I said before, I just feel like it's just not that serious. Even like JiDion said, bro, he should have put a disclaimer that it was like 18 to go on a fucking PDF watch case. But I feel like if you're anybody with a fucking brain cell, I feel like that was just like the you know what I mean, like a non-negotiable, bro. Like I'm not gonna have a minor on an EDP case, bro, because of obvious reasons. That's fucking weird and dumb. And yeah, bro, I just feel like August just, you know, bro, just take your own advice, bro. Critically think, bro. Critically think, have open-mindedness, and stop putting yourself in an echo chamber, whether it is your subs, your friends, or whatever, bro. Just go out there, bro, and actually just ask people, like, hey, what do you think, bro? Like, if you disagree with me, bro, tell me what you think. And even put that shit, like, in your comment section. If you disagree with me, lay out your reasons why, bro. Like, I miss when YouTube used to do, like, the old, like, YouTube, like, video responses, bro. Because I feel like that shit, especially nowadays, bro, would go crazy. Like, it would go crazy, and a lot of discourse could happen between, you know, YouTubers and, like, you know, and the people themselves, bro. I just feel like it's just, you know, like, really just a really good thing. So without further ado, guys, bro, hope you guys enjoyed this good Yap react sesh. Probably be back today with another video, bro. We already got the fucking idiots in cars. We got this. Probably one more reacts, bro, for today, bro. And y'all gonna catch another triple upload today. So without further ado, guys, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Or if this is the last one, catch y'all probably on Monday, bro. I ain't gonna upload on weekends, but I'll catch y'all. I'll see y'all. Peace.